share my message about the West Dump. Like all my elders have been talking very hard before, telling the government that they didn't want the West Dump to come to the land. One thing, these people didn't listen to us. We've asked them to come here and talk to us in Tennant Creek. We want to talk to you people. We want to tell you how we feel about our land. Our land is our spirit. Our land that keeps us strong. Yeah, let's begin our story now.
Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call Makati.
Can I ask you about that meeting with the rain again, here at Makati?
Yeah.
Did that meeting talk about whose country that was, that place down there on the road?
Yeah.
What
They were
they say?
asking, you tell us, whose this land is this? Yeah, that's Midway mob. Your mob taken off. Because Ngapa didn't come here, he went over there, on the west side.
That you first heard about this plan for Makati.
Yeah.
So you knew straight away that you didn't want it,
Yeah.
even before you heard anything much about it.
Yeah.
Like when you went to the meeting in March, well, I think we know from the papers that you were at a meeting in March of 2007. 2 days, and you'd already made up your mind that you didn't want this anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime.
Anyway in Australia,
Yeah.
I can't agree with that stuff, but I like it. I know, I've been doing a lot of study about it. What's going to happen at the house now? They got some people in, but under up and still run in the bush. And they came back to drink the water, all finished.
If there is to be any challenge or claim over land and rights in this country, we have to go to the High Court of Australia and make processes through the Native Title Act, which we have to prove to them our story, our connection, our songlines, and if we cannot prove it, they will extinguish our right of native title. "200 years of Australian settlement. That's all it's been here, 200 years. And we, from the beginning, put under a constant pressure from a system that didn't even recognise us as human beings.
Sure, they poisoned us, they killed a lot of us. Not only does it take away human rights and civil rights, but what they did, they made a distinction between the full blood, whom they call the real Aborigines, and the mixed blood Aborigines. And they were arguing that the mixed bloods did not have the same rights as the people of the full blood. And the government began to work on those policies. A lot of half-caste Aboriginal people, we call half-caste, we are, I'm not a half-caste, they classify me as a 5/8 Aborigine. That's what the government says I am. That's how they measure my blood. They say that I'm a 5/8 Aborigine. I looked at the government reports on me. By separating the Aboriginal kids from their own teachings, yeah, the whites, even in the plans, said, we must remove the Aborigines from the influence of their own families, yeah, so that they don't learn about being an Aborigine. They don't learn their languages. They don't learn their ceremonies. And so that disconnects them from their culture. And when you disconnect people from the culture, then they can't go back and claim their land.
dumping marketing! Don't waste the territory! No dumping marketing! Don't waste the territory! No dumping marketing! No dump! No dump! No dump!
Open your ears and come and talk. Come and give us support. The local people of this Tennant Creek. I call you up local. I don't care where you might come from, different tribes. Still local. We all live in one town. That was the biggest fool what they did to our people. What NLC and the government did to our people. And this is coming from my heart. I'm saying this because I know I think about it every night and every day. I never go without thinking about it. This is what happened. They asked everyone, oh, we want to make a road through the country to the railway. And everyone all agreed, said yes. Okay, that's okay, because the truck's going to be taking the manganese across to the railway. But we didn't know there was a secret treasure was hiding underneath. Then they brought that up. Oh, we're going to have a waste dump. They're asking us to give them our land for mining exploration, for digging into our land, and for bringing like the big surprise for us, like a waste dump that's going to come to our land. They're just trying to buy us with some money, but we don't want their money. We want our land to remain in one piece. We want our Aboriginal people to be as friends and families and relatives and countrymen, whatever, to be together for one country. That's the first time I've found out that High Court, the court that started off in Melbourne, that's a High Court, see, where we start off looking, where they looked through and heard through all the evidence that we were saying. And that was first time for me, and I was shocked when I seen that. The traditional owners are five clans, but the traditional owner of what we're fighting against for is Manuwangu, that's Milway Dreaming. We're fighting against the Commonwealth and NLC, just for that little area. It's not a little area, but it's a big area, but just for that name. We're going to be standing strong for our mother's country and our grandfather's country.
I find very, very, very offensive the fact that a black person in Burke, if he sets 1 foot in a bloody pub up there, he will get his head kicked in. That is extremely offensive to me. I find very offensive.
That's what land rights mean. That means a lot of money, and it means a lot of people that are getting rich off your blood and gut.
In 1972, the Black Power movement, when the government said we're not going to give Aborigines land or recognise Aboriginal title to land, we'll lease land to you. Then myself and 3 other Aborigines, we went to Canberra and we set up the Aboriginal Tent Embassy. The Queen of England herself issued a decree, a legal decree, that she did not claim sovereignty over Aboriginal peoples. And so the Black Power movement made a lot of changes. And we began a program as well, not only on the political level, but we also commenced a program to bring about self-determination, yeah? And so we had to do things for ourselves. And we had to start our own organisations, our own housing companies, our own legal services, our own medical services. After 20 years well, there was only 10 years really, of 5 years of the Black Power movement. The unfortunate thing was, though, that the government was able to take ownership of those programs, and the way they took ownership of it was that they funded them.
that traditional ownership of land in the Northern Territory is established through processes set out in the Aboriginal Land Rights Northern Territory Act of 1976. Generally, this involves the Aboriginal Land Commissioner conducting hearings and publishing a report which the relevant Land Council considers in reaching its conclusions on the legitimacy as to who are the traditional owners. Makati is a large cattle station covering 238,000 hectares, with 7 clans each having traditional ownership of separate and distinct areas of land. In relation to the land presently nominated as a site for the National Radioactive Waste Facility, following the well-accepted process, I have outlined the Northern Land Council concluded in 2007 that traditional owners were the Napa clan.
Northern Territories, it's about 70 to 80 years colonialised. And they're still working off this whole thing that Australia, the Central Australia is like out of sight, out of mind. Most people on the coasts and all around Australia, they don't know what's going on here. Isn't it, Uncle? I'm talking, and it's true. You say, what do they want to do with us, Uncle? They want to get rid of us, don't they?
This is our country.
It is our country, yeah.
Yeah.
And our country deserves
and,
the better.
Them fucking policemen come around and giving them all the fucking money away and...
Yes, take the alcohol off them, take the money off them.
Yeah.
Take everything off them. And this is a free country?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Not for us. Not for my uncle, not for his people, not for any Aboriginal out here. They are in their way. They are trying to get rid of them. They're trying to get them out of town. They are killing them in jails. They are killing them with the grog.
Yeah,
they are killing them with the drugs.
That's real true, bro. That's real. I'm not fucking frightened by fucking policemen.
He's not frightened.
Oh, he's coming there, right there.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna come. Just
he's
keep
coming right there.
Fucking bastards.
It's called a Northern Territory Emergency Response. Yeah. Now you only apply this law and exercise this law when there's a natural disaster, when the country's at war. What they've done is that they've broken and gone against an international law that they are a party to, and that is the Racial Discrimination Act, yeah? And so the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination was suspended in this country in order for them to bring in the Northern Territory intervention.
That's really heartbreaking news again for us, for people, blaming our people for our kids. They think that they've been getting raped. Mothers, some grandmothers, some fathers are very aware of that. They look after their children. They take care of the kids, looking after their children. That's still being, parents.
Me and my family have been fighting against the waste dump for 6 years as well.
I've been first put on income management 3 years ago when I was 16. And ever since then it was just really hard because when we come to the city for trips or for protest march or rally or anything like that, we can't spend our basic card here. We can't use it here and it's very hard. We have to use the money from my account, a key card. And it has 2 different accounts. The basic card, it has the income management and the basic card. The most of the money goes into the income management and you have to transfer it. Back at home, people don't have computers. They don't have enough money to buy them. They need to call from a public payphone. And sometimes the payphones are like a long way to walk to go and get it to be transferred.
I used to chill back at my hometown, now I'm bound to lead my young crew. Selling your land isn't tight. Let's get together and fight for our right. Planting your poison in our land just to get some cash in your hand. You're drilling a hole right through my soul, right through my soul, right through my soul.
That's the country. My mum, because that was given to her by spiritual people, and she used to sing this song back home, where I was born, where we used to live Amak when he was young. This is Warramunga Land Trust, and I have to live here because my grandfather's dreaming starts from here to Makati. And even Mark, his dreaming comes from down there, south, comes to Malamala. That's the hill down there, and that's where the boomerangs flick from there to Junkarako, so he's welcome around here.
Through Chariot Mine up here, went past there.
You know, snakes, they don't go in one spot straight, they go anywhere, muck around, crawl around anywhere. So that's what the millway means, a snake. It was traveling up north. It's secret and it's sacred. So it's on, only men can talk about it.
If?
Too dangerous for you and me. Real sick and die.
And die.
Or just die instantly. It's like something like having that country like a, how can I explain it? It's real secret.
It's real spiritual country.
Spiritual country.
Spiritual country
and it's very sacred.
Everybody has a story. It doesn't matter whether it's me or you or anyone in the world has a story, but there's this old saying that says, walk a mile. To know me is to walk a mile in my shoes. I like to think about the past of what happened and go through it all and maybe calculate it and try to figure out why and how.
You like? Yeah, it's clever. Thank you.
All this past has brought me to here, to this day, to right now. Maybe there was a reason for all that to happen. Maybe my job was to find this place and be an activist and try and get something better for my people. They will win. They will win. I believe that our native title comes from birth. It is the birthright of every Aboriginal person in this country to be recognised as the true native title owner of this land. There's no denying it. As everyone you can go to all parts of the world and ask them who are the first people of this land. They will say me, as an Aboriginal person. That is my right of native title. I don't have to prove to the Crown. In 1967, I have been assimilated. I have been taken away from my culture. I have been taught the white man's way, the English colonial way of how to live. So I have no right to any form of native title because I don't have any language, I don't have any stories, and I have no, and I can't prove my connection to the area of where I was born. In them days, it was just like grab the kids, put them there, just they're good colour, right colour, you know, not too dark, not too white, and to fit in with an Anglo-Saxon family. Well, I was put into an Anglo-Saxon family. So under protest, this area we sit in now is an assertion, a right of turning your back on native title, turning your back on the laws, turning your back on everything, and sitting on a land that, yes, is traditionally known to be Aboriginal. And we do it under the banner of Indigenous sovereignty. We stand on our land here, which is not much, and say, you have no native title right over us.
As we look at the requirement, Australia's current radioactive waste totals around 4,020 cubic metres of low-level and short-lived intermediate waste, and about 600 cubic metres of long-lived intermediate waste, including 32 metres arising from the return of the reprocessing internationally of ANSTO's spent research reactor fuel, which is due for return in Australia in 2015-16. That's 4 years. 4 years from now.
Leave this country to go away. But when they got distance away near McLaren, they're feeling sorry for this country. And at that, you know, that thing there, hill in a highway, there they would make their choice. They've been thinking back to country there. That's why we followed I'm following with my crew right up to there. And you see that jump up beside McLaren? That's where they stop and sing, look back for their country. And they were feeling sad. That's why we're doing the action. But I like to still do the action and song for that place and that turn western. If you don't believe me, you will look in the DVD this podcast.
Did anyone ask you what you reckon?
Don't ask me. We always arguing. But I don't want to listen to young people.
The Aboriginal people, by law in the legislation, the government says that if the Aborigines say, yes, you can go and have a look around, yeah, once they find something, you can't say no. And then when they find something, they come up and they say, we'll give you $20 million. And this is Aboriginal people now, we have a term for this. This is look around money. We've told them what we're going to do. Too bad if they don't like it. But this is how they're going to do it. That's not democracy. That's a dictatorship.
Your name?
I'm not going to go in.
Oh, you are me.
That's right. How much meth they give you? 14?
Ladies and gentlemen, smile.
I think you guys are check it.
You people are trespassing. Yeah. Get back away from me, you fucking bastards! Curses on you by the name of Newick!
Not here. Ronnie, here. I'm here from ancient.
You know the rules.
I know the rules. You don't know the rules.
You know the rules.
Get box all down here. Your game's up. Your party's over, you fellas. Your game's up. Get the commissioner down here.
Put the stick down, please.
That's right.
Right now.
Now, this is not, you put your stick down. This stick belongs to this land. This stick,
You know the
this
consequences.
stick here belongs to me and him. This is our land. This is our ancient land, our dream time.
This is up to you.
You put your stick down, you go back, because I'm going to make a fire here for peace. So you take your step back. Tell them to go back, Roddy.
These people are totally the opposite of us. They like to destroy the country. They're supposed to be human beings, or the human race. Some call themselves the super race. They still destroy environment and mine uranium. For 40,000 years, we've never touched the country. We've loved the country. It is ours. It is the reason why we exist. Our obligations and responsibilities as Aboriginal people, First Nations people, we are obliged to look after the country.
Don't wait for your superiors.
Now.
Let that cunt burn their fucking feet off.
Please get it right.
Salt! You got that? See that? You hear that? Fucking evident.
If you're causing obstruction, inconvenience and danger, I'll ask you to move the fire, otherwise you'll be directed to move. If you don't move, you'll be arrested.
That's up to you. You're the law of the land. You claim to be the law of the land. But I'll tell you how you got that law and that authority. You murdered, you killed, you stole. And I'm demanding that we arrest you for all from breaking law on our land. Okay?
You just can't obstruct the building site.
Okay, well, that's all. We're clear. I'll see you in court.
Yeah.
Okay?
So move your fire. Move your fire. It's on there. Look, we brought it down
You
here
ain't the
yesterday.
law, our man of this country. You can't arrest me because you ain't got the law, brother.
We brought your
You ain't the law. Listen,
listen.
listen.
No, you
Get
can't
it through
talk
your
over
head.
me.
Get it through your head.
Right, you're
You ain't the
telling
law
lies.
of this land.
You're telling lies.
You ain't the
We
law of
brought
this.
your property.
I'm the law of this land, not you, brother.
Right, we brought your property yesterday.
There are gatherings of Aboriginal people. Aboriginal people, from my understanding, are quite tribal, and they have certain areas that they meet and socialise in. And the local police for those particular areas have a better understanding of who's in those areas, who's coming and who's going, who are regular criminals, people who regularly break the law, and those people that aren't. And also we have a duty to have some understanding of their human needs. For example, mental health illness, general illness, alcoholism, drug addiction and things like that. We've got to be alive to the fact that some of these people are vulnerable.
Take him away.
I'm not
Move that way,
resistant.
mate. That's
I am not resistant.
Well, you are, actually.
You're... Put the fire out. It's raining. It's fucking air.
Back up, Gary! Hey! Hey!
What is that?
Butter. If there's any cooking oil or butter.
I've just passed it on today.
And what is that in it?
I'm going to talk what I want to know.
And what is that?
So looking back, the distance away, long way now. That's why they sang this song.
Did you know where that money goes?
Well, if they said, if you mock got all agree, all up your team got to agree with that. That money got to go to everybody now. We don't want it. We know that it's a dirty money. I don't like to talk about that money. Please leave me alone.
I think the government doesn't understand what's really going on. He thinks this is a big joke and thinks that we're talking nonsense, which we're not. They sold our land, other people, which is not from Makiri area, which is not Mirway, they're Ngapa, and they gave them the money and they claimed our land, and now they're going to make tensions between two different land groups, and it's just, you know, it's just the same act as they're doing it in Africa.
My mother is Bramungu. She is one of the senior elders for the Napa clan, which is part of the 5 clan groups that the federal government, Justice Gray, handed back to my mother's people, and my mother and my uncles, in their white law. They gave them the title for that land. The hardest thing with this muggity was the whole circumstances about how the federal government put the carrot there for $200,000 nomination, how they then said they would give $10 million for the waste disposal dump, and the scientists explained that to us in October of 2000 at Muggity. I was there. My family, my mother's clan group, are saying, if we don't have that there, someone else will take it and have it over there, and they'll have the $12 million. The federal government gave, instead of $10 million, they upped it to $12 million.
Okay, how you going? What's your name?
I think, have we met before?
Yeah, I know you.
I think we have met before.
Yeah, you new town?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I used to talk with Bossman up there. Remember when we were here in 2007?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just this.
Yep.
Okay, the ceremony, as you know, will continue and it will go out. Okay, so that's all it is. So we have an agreement with you guys and you have an agreement with us. So the fire ceremony will go ahead and we will finish with it and it'll go out as it does. Okay, that's all I can say.
Try not to
Okay, thanks very much, and see up before you go. I want you to put a leaf on before we go, please.
Oh, we can't do that.
Yes, of course, I know the bill. Come on, I know your boss put it on. Your boss did it.
Yeah, but Lola's a different story.
We do know that throughout these court proceedings, the Greens have consistently suggested that the Northern Land Council have got the wrong traditional owners and that the right traditional owners were not consulted. To present this as a matter of fact is to preempt the federal court's decision. As a former member of the Melbourne Bar and officer of the court, the member for Melbourne should know that it is unethical to preempt a decision of the court for political gain. In the Labor Party, we don't pick and choose traditional owners to suit our political circumstance or political campaigns we seek to pursue for short-term political gain. We respect due court processes.
Well, the colonials have always recognised they've treated with the American Indians, they've treated with the New Zealand Maoris, and they have not and will not treaty with us. Australia, first of all, to get that treaty, must recognise our sovereignty. The British Crown must recognise that we have the right of sovereignty on land to start negotiation. With the treaty that we have rightful say over land and country, and we will be the real estate of that land, the real estate holders, and we will make a judgment on whether that land will be dug up or not.
I understand. I went to school. I study about lot.
They're putting it in our land, which is our culture, is where we get it from. It's how we represent. We represent the land, the animals, our food that we collect. That's how we represent it. That's how we represent our dreaming and our dreams times. And if they're gonna kill the land, they're gonna kill all of the animals, they're gonna kill our culture, and they're gonna kill us.
Dreaming is a totem. You have to live with that.
You can't pass it, you can't leave it. It'll be for you forever and ever.
It's like a team like a captain, and you got a team behind you. So the teams are all the traditional owners, and the captain is the totem that leads the way. And the spiritual people, during the night, we have night jinns, we have night walkers. It's beautiful. They come out, give us signal, so we know who's out there.
I'm painting a dreaming. I am painting my dreaming. A dreaming for a future of Aboriginal sovereignty to be recognised. And I put them on the shoes as a representation of walking that mile to sovereignty and to having our full recognition as Indigenous peoples of this land. Before 1967, there was no recognition of that. We were under the care of what they called National Parks and Wildlife. We were still under the Fauna Flora Act. Australia had come to the conclusion that Aboriginal people were asking the question about whether they were to be allowed in society and be recognised as a citizen. So Australia went to the polls and they voted quite well, overwhelmingly They voted about 98% of Australians voted yes, which gave Aboriginal people the recognition as human basis in this country.
If we allowed nuclear waste to come to Australia, not only do we make the world a safer place and protect our country from the major threat which nuclear waste possesses, so as part of any plan and taking of others' waste could be an industry in itself for us into the future.
And to the true welfare of the people of Australia. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen.
That they have used Christianity as a way of recognising their existence and have taken the land under the name of God. In God we trust. Well, not our people, we trust in the spirit and culture of this country.
If they're gonna put it there, we're not gonna let them. Like old Bunny said and everyone else in our family said, we're gonna block it. If they're trying to build it, we're gonna block it.
That this facility, the intended facility, will only store radioactive waste generated, possessed or controlled by the Commonwealth of Australia or a Commonwealth entity. No other country's waste. In actual fact, the law of Australia prevents Australia from storing the waste of any other country.
When you see a sacred site destroyed, it's really hurt. It's like cutting your heart out or cutting your leg, whatever.
Well, for me, if I go away from here, if I'm drifting away, forgetting about my culture, I'd probably die. Because it's my heart, it's my life. Yeah.
I don't want the next generation to have to do this. I want them to know that they got a place in society and will be looked at as of something worthy. Build a constitution together by Aboriginal people, for Aboriginal people, on Aboriginal land.
We've got to find someone who can teach us all that. It's hard to find that. We've got to be strong. Yeah. We're planning to learn about it, isn't it? So then we'll learn more and start standing up for our people all over Northern Territory.
We will never lose. We will never lose. People say that we will lose, but no, we will not lose. No. The white man he will come and he will go. We are here forever.
Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call marketing. Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call marketing. This is Milway dreaming. Sold out by the nuppers dealing. They've been hurting my feelings. I'm a gurunguru, and I should have my say instead of the government getting it their way. Say no to the waste dump, no to the waste dump, dump. Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call marketing. Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call marketing.
We don't want nothing to come to LA. Start listening. We don't want nothing to come to LA. Start listening. We don't want nothing to come to LA. Start listening. We want you people to support us.
I used to chill back at my hometown. Now I'm bound to lead my young crew. Selling your land isn't tight. Let's get together and fight for our right. Planting your poison in our land just to get some cash in your hand. You're drilling a hole right through my soul, right through my soul, right through my soul. Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call marketing. Don't waste the territory. This land means a lot to me. Been living here for centuries. This place we call